The other day, I was reading a discussion in Heroes of History Epic Empire, and honestly, it looked like one of those tiny questions that nobody pays attention to. A player asked whether buying research points has worth it. From first look, it's simple question. Then somebody replied with something that immediately catch my attention. They said, rule of thumb, don't buy research points. And I remember thinking, wait a second, if the answer is that obvious, then why are players still buying it? Because let's be honest, most of us have looked at research points before and thought exactly the same thing. Am I stuck? I need one more technology. I need one more upgrade. If I buy a little research points right now, I can move forward immediately. And that sounds logical. In fact, it sounds so logical that I think that's exactly why so many players make this mistake. Because this isn't really a research points discussion, this is an impatience discussion. And those are usually the most expensive discussions in the strategy games. Because the funny thing is, nobody buying research points when they are comfortable. And I can give myself as an example. What you see on the screen is I'm waiting to get some of those materials. Otherwise, I have to buy them with the gems. And also, I need to get these keys to continue to proceed in the future. And right now, I'm stuck with those research points. So not always research points are so-called scarcity. Sometimes it's something else. And you're going to end up investing in research points and at the same time not having abundance of them when you actually don't need them that much. And yeah, nobody walks in, sees plenty of resources, plenty of progression, and suddenly decide to buy research points. You buy them when you're blocked. You buy them when you're frustrated. You buy them when you're one upgrade away. You buy them when you feel progression slows down. And that's where things get interesting because whether I see experienced players saying don't buy something, I always ask myself same question. Why? Not because they're always right, not because they're always right, but because experienced players usually know something newer players don't. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized the problem isn't actually the research points itself. The problem is what you're giving up to get them. Because strategy games are not really about what you buy, they are about what you don't buy. That's the real part people forget. Every purchase is also a decision not to make another purchase. Every premium currency spent today is a premium currency unavailable tomorrow. And here we're actually jumping more like here we're actually jumping more like over account flexibility, how flexible is going to be your account in the future. And that's where I think most players evaluate research points incorrectly. They look at the things they're getting, they don't look at the things they're losing. And those are two very different calculations because let's imagine you're sitting here, you're sitting there, you're missing a little research points. You need one more technology. And the majority of the cases is about the barracks, heavy infantry barracks, or some barracks for training the hero because the next level can give you extra, for example, 5 per hour, which is a pretty decent boost. Maybe to unlock something useful like this. Maybe to let you upgrade farms before sleep, when you upgrade the farm. I mean, for example, you have like 2 hours, you know exactly like 2 hours is going to cost the upgrading time. So you want to get this technology, upgrade the farm, go to sleep, and wake up and get the resources from there. Maybe it unlocks something useful. Maybe let you upgrade farms, before sleep. Maybe it feels like massive progression boost. And honestly, sometimes it is. But here's what surprised me. The veterans in that discussion didn't immediately say the purchase was always wrong. They started talking about exceptions. And whether exceptions appear, I get interested. And whether exceptions appear, I get interested. Because that's usually mean we're dealing with strategy decisions, not with rule. One player basically said, possible exception, if you buy research points, I can unlock the next farming technology before bedtime. Now we're asking a different question, not is research points good, but how much value does the specific purchase create at the specific moment? And those are not the same thing. Because one of the biggest mistakes strategy players make is treating all situations equally, and they're not equal. Buying research points because you're impatient and buying research points because it unlocks a chain of additional upgrades are completely different decisions. And I can give you some min max of it's from other games, but for example, if the barracks was actually producing troops, if you start upgrading these barracks, you're basically stopping, training the troops. So it's better to start, for example, the upgrade and use speed ups to finish the upgrade so you unlock the training and start the training. This is what I call 2-in-1 speed ups. It's in other games, but you get the main idea I'm trying to present here. And this remind me of those. It remind me of something I've been noticed in almost every strategy game I ever played. Players love visible value. We love seeing something happen immediately. We love clicking a button and watching progress appear. It feels productive, it feels efficient, it feels smart. But some of the worst decisions in strategy games feel smart in the moment. That's what makes them dangerous, because if a bad decision feels bad immediately, nobody will make it. The dangerous decisions are the one that feels amazing at first. Then I start thinking about why veteran players seems to reluctant to spend premium currency on progression shortcuts. And I think it comes down to something simple. Veterans usually think in months. Newer players think in days. And before somebody gets mad, I used to do the exactly same thing. I still catch myself doing that sometimes. For example, in my case, it can be something for a video, for example, where I just want to make specific hero, whatever, more faster, more stronger. So when I present the video, the hero just to be very strong when I present him in form of abilities or whatever. So yeah, I catch myself doing that sometimes, but yeah, my purpose is the video. But still, this is an excuse to make something stupid. You see a wall. You want to break the wall. You solve today's problem, but experienced players often ask a different question. What does this purchase look like 20 days from now? And suddenly the decisions change. Because your research point you bought today disappear, the premium currency you spent disappear, but the opportunity costs stay. The flexibility of your account also. Maybe the currency should have bought something rare. Maybe with this currency, getting something more rare to be get. Maybe something harder to acquire. Maybe something that cannot be generated through the time. That's when I realized something weird. A lot of progression resources in Heroes of History Epic Empire eventually solve themselves. Event happen, rewards arrive, alliance benefits arrive. The game slowly pushes you forward, but some things don't solve themselves. Some currency remain valuable forever, and one of those currency is gems. I wish I have more gems. With the gems, you can open more land. Land is also a currency, by the way, that I really want to get, but it's like way too expensive at this moment. But there's their currency that is going to be forever valuable. And that's where competitive players become very careful because they don't judge purchase based on today pain. They judge them based on tomorrow opportunities. Then I noticed something else. Most players don't actually regret buying research points. At least not immediately. Nobody wakes up the next morning thinking, man, that research points purchase ruined my account. That's not how those mistakes work. The regret appear later, usually weeks later. When something better appear, when a specific event arrive, and when a rare opportunity show up. And I can give you an example. As I already mentioned, the games are scarcity, but I actually used the gems couple times. Maybe I spent like, I don't know, close to 500 gems in the different in the different places. Now I was going to be able to purchase this piece of land if I didn't make those purchases that didn't actually show up and do a crazy value for my account. But I decide to go, to go and spend those gems at these places. So, the opportunity show up, the new season come, I start getting gems here and there. I finally, get some gems, and right now I cannot purchase this piece of land. When you're suddenly missing currency you used to have, and that's where those decisions are sneaky because the cause and effect are separate by time. You spend today, the consequences shows later. That's a dangerous combination because humans are terrible at seeing those connections. And honestly, I think this is why experienced players develop simple rules. Not because every situation is identical, but because simple rules prevent emotional spending. Don't buy research points. It's not really about the research points. It's about protecting yourself from dozens of tiny decisions that slowly drain resources. And that's made me wondering something. If buying research points is usually considered inefficient, why do players keep doing it? And I think the answer is surprisingly simple because progression feels good. Progression is addictive. Seeing a number go up feel amazing. Unlocking something new feels amazing. Removing a bottleneck feels amazing, especially the bottlenecks. The game is literally designed to make those movements satisfying. And that's not a criticism, that's how progression games work. But the best players eventually learn something. Not every bottleneck should be removed immediately. Sometimes the correct strategy is simply waiting. In the same time, for example, gathering some other resource that you're going to need for the next step. Sometimes the correct strategy is simply waiting, which sounds incredibly boring, but boring decision often creates strong account. And exciting decisions often create expensive accounts. Then things got even more interesting because the same player discussion mentioned other purchase, folios, arena tokens, event milestones, and suddenly research points wasn't even a topic anymore. The real topic became prioritization because every account eventually reaches the same problem. You don't have enough currency for everything. Nobody does. Whales don't. Well, maybe whales have, to be fair. Free to play players definitely don't. Wall spenders don't. Everybody's focused on to do a prioritization. And that's where account strength starts separating, not from who spent, but from what they choose. Because every account is basically a collection of thousands of small decisions. And most of those decisions don't feel important when you make them. The difference only becomes visible later. One player spent on convince, another spent on opportunity. The one player removed their problem, another invests in tomorrow advantage. 6 months later, their accounts look completely different. Even though neither decision feels significantly at the time. That's why I think this discussion is bigger than just the research points. Research points are just the symptom. The real lesson is understanding the difference between urgency and importance. Urgence, things scream at you. Importance usually whisper. Urgence say, fix this now. Importance says, think first. And honestly, I think this is the biggest lesson here. The strongest accounts are not always built by making brilliant purchases, they are often built by avoiding unnecessary ones, which sound less exciting, but it's probably more true. So when somebody says rule of thumb, don't buy research points, I don't think they're really talking about research points. I think they're talking about discipline. And discipline is one of those things that look boring in the moment but become incredibly powerful over time. Because strategy games rarely reward the players who make the most decisions. They usually reward the players who avoid the most mistakes. And that's a very different way of thinking. So now I'm curious, how many of you have bought research points because you were stuck on one upgrade? And looking back, what was actually it was actually worth it for you by looking back. Or was it one of those purchases that feel smart on for 5 minutes and completely disappear from your account a week later? Let me know, because I have feeling a lot more players have made this mistake that they are willing to just admit. So yeah, guys, this will be for this video. Just wanted to share my couple cents over a discussion I watched about the research points. Yeah, currently research points is not something that I need that much because it's not the bottleneck. Other things is the bottleneck, but definitely there was some moments where the research points was a bottleneck for me, and I actually watch, the ads here, trying to get more research points and etc. So let me know what you think. So far, don't forget to hit one like on the video. Also subscribe for more Heroes of History Epic Empire content. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.